say.
Dunks use tires and wheels, where the customer is always number one. So when life's throwing you a number two, just remember, Dunks Tires and Wheels, because we'll be here for you. We sell used custom wheels and tires and do plug and patch repair. We have all tread styles and sizes in stock. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, and on call for emergencies. Call 270-963-6391. Dunks use tires and wheels, where the customer is always number one.
Great music from a time when we didn't have to be told, do not try this at home, because we weren't stupid.
And welcome to the SMQ show. And for those who do not know what that stands for, last week we shortened Saturday morning quarterback down to SMQ. This is Bob Hayes, and I'm joined this morning by head coach David Barnes, Coach Jeff Riley, and Coach Earl. The Tigers saw their record fall to 1-2 last night, losing to the Hopkinsville Tigers 35-20 in a mistake-plagued game last night here in Princeton. I'll be back with the coaches when we return after these messages.
Caldwell Medical Center Sleep Lab offers diagnosis for a variety of sleep problems, including sleep apnea. 1 in every 5 Americans have significant sleep difficulties, which, when diagnosed properly, can be successfully treated. A few symptoms of sleep disorders include fatigue, morning headaches, impotence, frequent urination, irritability, memory loss, high blood pressure, and loud snoring. If you have some of these symptoms, we may be able to help you identify and treat them before they cause more serious health conditions. Caldwell Medical Center offers studies in lab and in your home depending on your insurance company's requirements. Call 270-365-0300 for more information.
Seasons come and seasons go, but something that can remain the same is reliability. And here at McGregor Group Heating and Air, reliability and honesty are a few of our top priorities. So if you're looking for heating and air service, give us a call at 270-896-5044 or come visit us at 960 Varmint Trace Road here in Princeton. We're the company that you can take comfort in.
And welcome back to the show. David, if I was writing the headline for last night's loss, I would write Caldwell County beats Caldwell County. Your comment on...
I would totally agree with that. We had too many chances that we had the ball in the red zone or inside the 20-yard line, didn't finish. I think Todd Griffin last night when we were talking said there was probably 28 points that we didn't get that we should have had, and that's something that was really a big factor in that game last night.
It was frustrating because we play in their territory, and I'm sure 75% of the time when we have the ball, we always say whoever wins a turnover battle wins a football game, and how true that was last night in Hopkinsville with 1 turnover, Caldwell County with 4 turnovers. And beginning with the first half, I was a little confused on the coin toss. The referee never gave me a signal. Did Hopkinsville win the toss and elect to get the ball?
Yes.
Okay, so there was no defer.
No.
They didn't defer. We thought when we didn't see the hand go up and tap the shoulder and give the wave off sign, so we thought Hopkinsville had won the toss and wanted the ball. Well, they received the opening kickoff and immediately marched 72 yards in 9 plays, going to the air 4 times and completing 3 of them, and we were somewhat shocked that one, their receivers were so wide open, and 2, that the quarterback could lay the ball right in there to them. A little bit of a surprise to you?
Well, we knew that quarterback was pretty good. He threw the ball pretty well against us last year, and he'd struggled a little bit this year, and I think he'd thrown 4 picks, but they did a good job of getting their receivers open. He did a good job of getting the ball to them. And
the final pass that he completed was for a 13-yard touchdown, and the extra point was good. So first drive of the game, Hopkinsville gets on the board, which I'm sure that's why they chose the ball, to see what if they could score early, put us on the defensive, if you will. But the Tigers take over at the 20 on their kickoff and immediately get a 46-yard run from De'Eric to the Hopkinsville 29-yard line. De'Eric was again impressive last night, going over 100 yards, and I know he laid it on the ground once or twice, but he was running harder to me last night than he was in that Graves County game.
Yeah, he ran the ball hard for us, got some good yardage, and had some big long runs, and we just got to work with him on protecting the football.
Joby in that drive completes his first 4 passes that he threw last night, but on the 5th one, he's intercepted in the end zone, and the Hopkinsville defensive back returns it to the to the Hopkinsville 14-yard line. I thought we might actually, when he started to come out of the end zone, if he makes that break coming out of the end zone and we down him in the end zone, is that still a touchback or is that a safety?
I think with him committed to come out, it would be a safety.
He was 3 or 4 yards deep in the end zone when he picks that ball off, and we didn't know that. But he does pick it off, and I thought we were going to have him down at about the 5, but he manages to get to the 14, and that's where they take over.
Luke had a heck of a hit on that tackle on that kid after that interception. That's as good a hit as we've seen all night.
Well, the Hopkinsville kid had about four players hit him before he went down, like you say, with a nice hard tackle.
Yeah.
Well, Hopkinsville hits pass plays. Again, their passing attack for 26 and 30 yards. And Bland seemed to know where his open guy was, and again a 15-yard penalty against the Tigers. I guess for personal foul, or not personal foul, but anyway, maybe a late hit or a hit to the Hopkinsville receiver's back or something in that. I'm still not sure I understand that rule.
I think is that the helmet to helmet?
Yeah, I think so. They called it helmet to helmet.
Okay.
Like a targeting type play.
Okay.
Right.
And anyway, that 15-yard penalty moves Hopkinsville closer, but we stiffen on defense, and Hopkinsville has to resort to the field goal, which is good, from 24 yards out. And 2 drives, Hopkinsville has 10 points on the board. Caldwell County is still 0. We get the kickoff and begin a long drive from our 22-yard line, short passes and short runs, and a pass interference penalty against Hopkinsville puts the ball at the Hoptown 37-yard line. Caldwell then suffers 2 penalties, but on 3rd and 19 from Hoptown's 46, Joby hooks up with Derek for a 31-yard pass, which Derek makes a nice catch on that right behind 2 Hopkinsville defenders to get that ball to the 15-yard line. And to me, he was not by far the primary receiver on that play.
That particular play is probably the second read that that was a touchdown. That ball thrown with the matter where he had to stop and make the catch, and that's one of those 2 or 3 times last night where we didn't put enough air on the ball to give our receivers a chance to make a play, and that's something that we need to work on and get better at, because that was a touchdown had we thrown it there.
And we get to the 15-yard line, but on 3rd down, Joby launches another pass, which is deflected, tipped, and happens to fall in the hands of a Hopkinsville back. So we're in the red zone twice last night on our first 2 drives and get nothing out of it, coming away, in essence, with 2 turnovers. And then Hopkinsville can't move, and they punt to us, and Trail, I thought he was going to break one last night, gets it, returns it 31 yards to the Hopkinsville 28-yard line, and had to make some nifty moves to get it that far back upfield.
I was like you, when I first saw it open up, I thought, well, he's going to score here, and they cut him off, and but it was a good return, set up gave us a good field position.
Again, we move inside the red zone, and on 4th down, Joby's pass is incomplete, and Hopkinsville takes over. I don't know, probably not in the red zone at this time. We were close, but his pass goes incomplete. Hopkinsville takes over at the 25 with 5 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in half. On their first play, they complete a pass, but the kid is tackled and fumbled on the ground, recovered by Trail. The hit by Tate Van Hoosier on that play. And I thought our linebacking crew played pretty good ball last night, except when Hopkinsville, maybe we were tired at the end and gave up a lot of the yards on the ground in the last 6 minutes of the football game last night.
They started running some counter on us, and we didn't do a very good job of getting our reads on that deal and filling up the hole. They were kicking us out, and we didn't have somebody to fill the hole.
Well, and we recover the fumble by Trail at the Hopkinsville 38-yard line. And again, reiterating, much of the first half was played in Hopkinsville territory. The Tigers began this drive at the 38. Big play in that drive was a 10-yard pass completion to Oliver Parker, 10-yard run by Derek Hollowell, and a 12-yard pass to Travis Newsom. And on first and goal from the 6, Derek has the ball and almost, we felt like he maybe could have been in the end zone, but apparently hit it to one and fumbles. But quick reaction by Jameer Riley, getting on the ball in the end zone, out wrestling, in essence, Hopkinsville defensive back for that football.
I couldn't tell where I was, whether Derek was in the end zone or not, but, it was a situation where we were fortunate that Jameer got on that ball for a touchdown, because there again was our third time to have the football. We're in the red zone with the opportunity to score, and we turned it over there, but Jameer, thank goodness he was there to recover that ball.
There, I know I watched a little bit of the video this morning, and, you couldn't tell on the tape because Derek's back is to the camera, whether he was across the plane or not when the ball come out. But Luke Stallings kind of keeps that ball alive. He's kind of going over that direction, and when the ball's on the ground and Luke dives for the ball. He's trying to get it, but it kind of hits it, and it hits it away from a Hopkinsville kid, and then of course Jameer's coming in to help out, and he gets on the ball there too. So.
And Coach Riley, you're right, because immediately I thought they were on the ball or about to wrap it up, and then you see a little squirt, and then Jameer comes over and hugs it, gets his shoulder into the Hopkinsville back, and we end up with the ball. He's holding it up in the air to make sure the official didn't blow that one.
Right. Yeah, well, that was that too. I mean, those kids are hustling over there to the football, and that's it's not over till it's over. So it kind of worked out for our favor in that chance, I guess.
Well, that was we get to the red zone the third time, and by luck we actually get a touchdown, maybe by skill as well, recovering the ball, being aware of what's going on, never over till it's over. And we score, and Barrett adds the extra point, and we're only down 10-7. Hopkinsville starts their next possession from their 27. 21-yard gets them to our 34-yard line, and two big penalties push the ball to the Caldwell 11-yard line. And in this series of plays, I'm sure that's when Trail picked up did he pick up the back-to-back unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, or had he one earlier in the game?
That was that one that you're talking about right there was the first one.
I thought
that was his second.
Because that's when they escorted.
Yeah, he's talking about the second one.
The first one occurred in the first quarter. It was Hoptown was in the end zone. Things.
Yes, and on that first drive in the first half, the opening drive, I think he got one.
So was it words or
yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't look like he'd done anything overtly pushing or anything like that.
The referee said he said something, and on the first one he said something to the referee, supposedly, and then on the second one he said something to Hoptown's bench. That's what the referee told us.
Who was the white hat last night, David?
Bubba Henley.
Okay. So Trail was removed from the game, and Hoptown converts when they get to the 11-yard line after these two penalties. And they were back-to-back. What was the issue there? Jeff, do you?
The back-to-back penalties? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Well, they were at the 34, and two penalties take it to the 11-yard line. I'm
not sure. I was trying to explain to Trail what was going on at that point, so I'm not sure.
I don't remember either.
Anyway, they go the 11-yard run with a minute 30 seconds to go and a half. PET is good, and as quickly as we score, they answer. They go up 17-7. But then we take over after the kickoff goes out of bounds, and we take over at our 35, and Jovi hits Travis Newsom on a 17-yard pass, and the Tigers face 4th and 2 at the Hopkinsville 40, and Derek breaks free and is tackled from behind, but this is where the ball is stripped, and we know he's inside the 20 when they catch up to him. He made a nice run to get through that little tight opening, but then he gets stripped or hit down, but the ball squirts loose and is finally recovered by Hopkinsville at their 3-yard line.
I think the kid from Hoptown was coming from behind and punched the ball out of there. You know, a lot of times backs get complacent and they don't keep the ball high and tight and locked into their elbow, and it's showing. And the kid, I think he did a good job of coming up, knocking it out of our hands. And
we felt like it was a hit by the arm that rather than a blow to the body that shook that ball loose from where he was running away from us, and we were just hoping that he could elude that closest guy, which I guess turns out to be the one that punched it out.
On the film, he's getting pressure from the inside. I think it was a corner. I'm not sure of the position. Comes from the outside, so he's got his attention on the runner on the inside. So he's trying to fight him off, and like Coach Barnes said, he just let the ball get away from his body, and the other kid came in and like you're taught to grab, and when you bring your second hand to punch up, and that kid made a good play.
Well, that was obviously a blow to us, in that we can't get on the scoreboard there at the end of the first half. They take over at the 3-yard line, and one play later the half ends, and the Tigers in the red zone 4 times and can only get one touchdown, with the other 3 resulting in turnovers. Frustrating, and we'll talk with Coach Barnes and Coach Riley and Coach Earl about what changes, adjustments, or anything like that we were going to be making at halftime to help us in the third quarter, and we'll do that after we return from these messages.
Get into shape and feel good at Trilogy Performance Sports in Princeton. Trilogy offers a wide range of classes to help you reach your fitness and well-being goals, like yoga, gymnastics, sports training, team training, cardio, kickboxing, and weightlifting. They have family discounts, and your first class is free. So come work out in a family-friendly environment at Trilogy Performance Sports, located directly behind Cash Express in Princeton. Open 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Be better than you used to be at Trilogy Performance Sports Princeton. Telephone 270-601-1824.
This is Danny Patton with Farmers Bank and Trust Company. Our new Lyon County branch is now open. Come in and see us for the same friendly service and the names and faces you know and trust to provide you with all your banking needs. We're now ready to serve you at 28 Commerce Street in Eddyville. Open Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 4, Fridays 8:30 to 5, and 9 to 12:30 on Saturdays. Stop by today and experience banking at its best at Farmers Bank and Trust Company, member FDIC.
And we're back with the SMQ. David, what's the message that we deliver to our young men at halftime here, just getting ready for the third quarter?
Well, Coach McClung, he talked to the defensive people, and he went over some things there, and I thought we played pretty well defensively the first half. Made some stops, got us the ball back. Offensively, we just challenge those guys. Look, we got an offense that can score points. It's about making plays and people stepping up and making plays. That's what we didn't do last night. We had 2 or 3 drops on plays where we didn't let the ball into the tuck. So my thing was doing the little things right that win football games. And, when you get the ball in the red zone and down inside the 20, inside the 5, and you don't score and you have 4 opportunities, that's all it boils down to, is not making plays, and that all reflects back to practice. And so, we talked hard about making plays and, doing your job, and, got on the quarterback a little bit and challenged him a little bit. And, so we had the ball kicked off to us coming back the second half and didn't do anything on that first series.
Well, we knew going in that I was kind of picking up on how Hopkinsville's passing game was. They didn't throw anything out deep and wide. They were throwing it into the middle, and we just seemed to either not get a linebacker dropping back far enough or what, but a lot of those pass plays didn't have a back within 5 yards of the Hopkinsville pass receiver.
Yeah.
No, they didn't burn us any at all down the sideline last night. So, but I was pretty impressed with his ability to throw the ball and get it right on the money. Any other? Did you do anything at halftime with the team, Coach Riley?
Just other than listen to Coach McClung and make sure I was on the same page as far as adjustments wise. But kind of speaking to their passing game a little bit, I think from what we saw on film, they're a run first team and they're a power run team. That's what they want to do. So we really make sure that we get that run game stopped. You got to stop the run first. That's kind of just basic football stuff, and and then they did a good job. I felt like they probably threw the ball better last night than what we had seen on film. They had they did a good job of kind of drawing our linebackers in, and that created some space. And those kids, they're focused on the run, and then they react to pass, and that kind of, I think it probably affected our drops a little bit.
Well, and I see the same thing up in the box. We're assuming a run, and all of a sudden they good play calling last night, because you never knew whether they were going to pass on third down or first down or what. They mixed it up pretty well.
They stay ahead of the chains a little bit. So that kind of gets you. That kind of gets you defensively on your heels a little bit. That's why that first down play is so important sometimes.
And as Coach Barnes mentioned, we get the ball to start the third quarter, and immediately we take over at the 35. Another one of their kickoffs goes out of bounds, and I'm sure that's what one of their strategies were last night, was kick it out of bounds so that we did have a chance to return the kickoff, because those kicks were purposely, I felt, directed to the sideline.
Yeah.
So we take it over at the Hopkinsville at our 35 and can't get anything going. And on that first series of play, Joby's flagged for intentional grounding. I thought when he had protection last night, he had great protection. When he didn't have great protection, he was scrambling and coping for his life, so to speak.
Yes, he was.
Took some hits and still had a phenomenal percentage in his passing game. But we end up punting, and Tripp's first punt of the night travels 42 yards, and I like a punt that has about 22 yards of air and 20 yards of roll on it. They're not going to pick those up in return. So Hopkinsville gets it back at their 38. They can't move after picking up one first down, and they punt to us. We take over at our 37-yard line, and two big plays occur: 10-yard run by Derek, 15-yard pass completion to Gabe East, plus a 15-yard penalty, I think, on that hit, on that pass catch by Gabe. Was that another one of these helmet-to-helmet deals? Yeah. And the ball ends up at the Hopkinsville 24-yard line, and on the next play, Jameer covers that final 24 yards on a hard, determined run. I mean, he was in, out, knocking people down, and determined to get to the end zone the way I saw it.
Well, I'll tell you, Derek makes a nice block on that play, and we did a very, very good job up front with our offensive line, and our receivers outside did a good job blocking it. And then Jameer hits the corner, and he was determined to score, And but the key to it was Derek getting the edge block for Jameer.
And that's one thing you can show on film and point out. It's just not the runner, but blockers have to do their role as well. And when they do their role, if you've got a good enough athlete, a good enough running back, they'll weave and dart and dodge. And in this case, Jameer running hard gets it in the end zone, but we don't make the extra point, and so at this time, Caldwell trails Hopkinsville 17-13. Hopkinsville then gets the kickoff and immediately a 47-yard run and a big 24-yard pass completion. And after a 5-yard penalty, ball is at the Caldwell 6-yard line, and then Bland hits a touchdown pass. Again, they answer our drive with one of their drives, which is a short number of plays. Extra point is no good by Hopkinsville, and so they go up at this point in the game 23-13. And so the Tigers get the kickoff on the next series at our 24, second down. Joby hooks up with Oliver Parker on a big 58-yard pass play, and Oliver running stride for stride with that defensive back, and just great. And Joby throwing that ball under pressure. I thought for a second they might get to him before he could get that ball loose, but throws it well. Oliver makes an over-the-shoulder grab and can't put distance between himself and the back, and they finally get him down. So we didn't take but maybe 3 or 4 long shots last night, David. I know Oliver had one open in the first half, and Joby overthrew that one.
Yeah, let's see. I think there are at least 4 or 5 times that there's 4 or 5 in the first half where we were through deep. one of the Oliver that you talked about that was down the sideline, which we overthrew. And then there were 2 or 3 other ones. One was set up for Derek, and another one was set up for Oliver. So there was 4 or 5 times we felt like there were some things that we could do, but we also felt like our quick game, our short stuff was going to be our best stuff last night.
And after that 58-yard pass play, in 3 runs, Derek gets in the end zone, the final run with a 5-yard touchdown run, and on that play, blocking looked like it opened up.
And really well.
And he powered it in there. Our PAT is good, and we trail now 23-20. It seemed like all night long you felt like we were 20 points behind, so to speak, but we closed it within 3 points. Hoptown then gets it at their 40. Runs of 16 and 19 yards get it to our 25. They're hit with a 10-yard loss, 2 incomplete passes, and have to punt. This is where Gabe, as opposed to the earlier prior game, he does not let the punt roll around because it was inside our 20. Picks it up maybe about the 5 or 7 and returns it to our 16-yard line. A great decision on his part to pick it up and run it back.
Yeah, it was.
And so we pick up 1 first down, an 11-yard pass completion to Jameer, and we end up with 4th and 2, and we facing 4th and 2, and so we read my notes here. We end up making that first down, 10-yard pass completion, another one 6 yards to Travis. We're a little short, and it is 4th and 2, but we decide that we don't want to go late or deep in our territory, so Tripp gets his second punt of the night off, and it covers 31 yards, again on the ground a little bit, to the Hoptown 35. Snaps were great last night. Tripp, under no pressure to punt hurriedly, and did a pretty good night of job punting last night.
Yeah, he did. That one that you're talking about, 40 yards, that was a big punt. And, put them at switch fields, guys, them in their field position, not where, sometimes on punts, you kick it 10 or 15 yards and you got 4th and 2, you're sitting there. Should you go for it or should you punt it? And the decision to punt was to back them up, and Tripp did a good job there.
And we decide to punt, which I felt like was the right decision, and we did switch field position to the tune of 31 yards. Hopkinsville keeps it on the ground, and they overcome 15 yards in penalties with runs of 9, 15, and 14. Finally, a big, long jaunt, 41 yards by Dillard to score. And at this point, it's pretty well late in the 4th quarter. Hopkinsville up 29-20. We take over at our 20, and Joby goes to there, hitting Jameer with a 10-yard pass, Gabe with a 10-yard pass. Penalty against Hopkinsville has the ball at the 46 of Hopkinsville. And here's where I knew the officials missed one call last night. Oliver streaking down the near sideline on our side, ball in the air, and you can see the Hopkinsville defensive back holding his jersey.
Yeah.
But no call on that play, and there were a couple other things last night that it appeared to us that at least one occasion maybe they were doing a little taunting, and it wasn't either seen and not called. I don't know what the deal was.
I think it was seen and not called.
Because, it was clear, and this pass interference against Hopkinsville was visible from the stands, the press box, the sideline, and everything. But again, no call. But we end up overcoming that lack of a call. 7-yard pass to Jameer, 4-yard run by Derek, and the ball's at the Hopkinsville 35. And Joby then hits another down, and now Travis makes a beautiful catch down that far sideline.
That was a great catch.
A great catch. Only he could catch it, and he had at least one defensive back running with him, maybe 2.
Yeah, I think it may have been 2, but that was a heck of a throw, and it was a great catch by Travis. And
that gets us to the Hopkinsville 8-yard line. We're 1st and goal there, late in the game. 3 downs. We move it to the 2-yard line, but on 4th down, We try to run Derek to the short side, and Derek runs out of room. In essence, runs out of room over there. And
when Derek watches the film there, he's going to see if he'd have stuck his toe and come up underneath the block. Derek was trying to get to the pylon, and they did a good job of not letting him get outside. But there was a pretty good seam up inside. He stuck his toe and went up, got upfield.
A cutback would have been obviously a chance for him to have gotten it.
He would have walked in the end zone.
But anyway,
but in his defense, he's trying to make a play, and we tell our kids when they get down there, to try to sprint to the pylon, and it's something they'll learn from, and he'll make him a better running back.
And again, it just wasn't meant to be, I guess, is the proper philosophy. And so we end up losing a yard on the play, and Hopkinsville takes over at the 3-yard line. And again, to me, and this is with 6:23 left in the game, we're down 29-20 at 6 or 7 or 8 points here. Makes us down either 3, 2, or 1, and still a ball game ensuing at that point midway through the fourth quarter. But Hopkinsville takes all suspense out of it by going 97 yards in 12 plays, all on the ground, which you would expect with them trying to eat up clock. And Dillard covers the final 30 yards to score. So extra point was no good. So we think we found a weakness in Hopkinsville, their extra point team. They were on that. So Hopkinsville at this time with up 35-20 with 1 minute 7 seconds to go in the game. We get a nice kickoff return by I think Gabe East on the kickoff, and we take over at Hopkinsville 49. 2 passes of 5 yards and 9 yards to Derek. Another 11-yard completion to Gabe East plus a penalty against Hopkinsville gets us inside the red zone again at the 12. But attempting to scramble, Joby tackle, fumbles, and Hopkinsville takes over. And essentially, one play later, the game is over. So a lot of bright spots there, but a lot of downers when as you've just said, we're in the end zone or in the red zone and can't get anything done. And we'll talk about some stats here after, and we're going to pause right now and be back with the final segment of this show after these commercial messages.
Hi, Caldwell County. I'm Allie Coleman with First Southern National Bank, and I'm ready to service your next loan. Whether you're wanting to build your first home, buy an investment property, or add square footage for your growing family, we can tailor a solution just for you. Stop by my office at 101 West Washington Street in Princeton, or give me a call at 270-365-3545 to apply today. First Southern National Bank, Equal Housing Lender, Federal Registry 409424, NMLS 1002990.
Hey John, did you know that McDonald's has a 2 for $5 menu full of fan favorites?
Really? What can I get for only $5?
You can mix and match a winning combination from a selection of your favorites, including the Big Mac, Filet-O-Fish, classic chicken sandwich, and a 10-piece chicken McNuggets.
Oh man, you're making me hungry.
Well, then hurry into McDonald's before this incredible deal ends.
I already have my McDonald's app open and I'm ordering now.
I'm loving it.
The summer months are fading fast and everyone is settling back into their routines. With the kids back in school, you can now concentrate on summer projects you intended on doing, but you just never found time. Come see us at Fredonia Valley Bank and check out our consumer loans that could help you finance your next project. Purchase a car, truck, or a recreational vehicle to enjoy this fall. With only a couple of months left of warm weather, why wouldn't you drop in and spend some time talking to one of our friendly loan officers? The loan officers at Fredonia Valley Bank will help you make sound decisions when it comes to borrowing money and will guide you through the process. Fredonia Valley Bank is your real community bank, operating independently over 100 years, providing the people in our communities with the services they deserve. Located at 602 Cassidy Avenue, Fredonia, and 226 Commerce Street, Eddyville. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Here's a reminder from your Princeton Electric Plant Board. Meter tampering is dangerous. Tampering with an electric meter is not only dangerous, it is dishonest and against the law. Stealing electricity by tampering with an electric meter may result in your arrest and can even risk your life. Tampering with meters results in increased utility bills that everyone has to pay. If you see anyone tampering with an electric meter, call the Princeton Electric Plant Board right away at 270-365-2031. Princeton Electric Plant Board, Princeton's #1 energy source.
And welcome back to the final segment of the SMQ. Tough loss last night, David, but it seems like that we weren't certainly outgained much in the total yardage department, playing on their field quite a bit of the time last night. So I know you've got some things you can work on this week in practice and still pat them on the back a little bit.
Well, the thing is, if you look at where we're at this point in the season, we should be 3-0. There's no doubt about that. And last night's game is another indication of that. But as you went through everything this morning, I counted about 6 or 7 times we should have had points on the board. That's 40-some points that we didn't get, that we had opportunities, and had we done that, we won the football game. So our kids have got to learn that when we're on offense, our whole intent is to score every time we touch the football. And it's going to start in practice. Last night we didn't spend a lot of time on the field after the game. Went straight to the locker room and talked to them, and Coach Riley said a few things. Coach McClung, myself, we challenged those kids that Monday's Labor Day. How many people's going to be at practice? How many's going to stay at home not come to practice because of Labor Day? So I feel like we made some ground last night after the game. This is a pivotal thing where that these kids can look at this ball game with Hoptown, which is a good football team, but a team that we should have beat last night. And it has nothing to do with what Hoptown did. It is all on us.
And that, I think that's the thing I took away from it. They didn't stop us. We stopped ourselves.
Exactly. And
Caldwell County beats Caldwell County.
And it's not the scheme. It's not the offense. You got to make plays, and we got to have kids start to make plays. And as we go in and get ready to get into the district, we got to have that cleaned up. And Jameer said some good things at the end of the game there last night in that locker room. It meant a lot to me. It may not mean anything to anybody else, but it did to me because he showed a lot of leadership in that locker room last night. And if those kids will listen to that, come out Monday ready to go and have reevaluate where we are, we're going to end up with a good football team. But right now we're at a point where we got to decide, are we going to do the little things right to win football games, or are we going to complain and gripe and complain about practice, it's hot and this and that. And, we use the example of the 2012 team. We lost 2 football games early that year. But that team stuck together and fought and got better each and every week, and we won the state championship.
And you're right. And in every facet, every level, underclassmen are always looking to the seniors for leadership. And if they can exhibit that and display that, and it not only has to come in the game, but it has to come during practice as well. And I firmly believe how you practice is how you play.
Exactly. And, when you watch film, for a reason. It's like being in a classroom. That's our study time. That's what we're learning and what we need to do to win this football game. And, they get in there sometimes, they start laughing and cutting up and making jokes. And, it's serious. And, to win football games, you got to spend a lot of time. And a lot of time have to, work. And, if you're willing to do that, I think Monday when we come back on Monday morning at 8 o'clock, we're going to be a different football team.
And looking at it, Caldwell County picks up a total net yardage, total offense last night of 428 yards. Hopkinsville 485. A bunch of that coming in the last 5 minutes of the football game. Derek 23 carries, 132 yards. Jameer 4 for 25. Joby a tough night, 7 carries to have one nice scramble, negative 24 there. So Caldwell rushes the ball 34 times for 133 yards last night, and that's enough to, in my mind, open up the passing game. In the passing game, Joby completes 24 out of 36, 67% completion rate, 2 interceptions. But I know in the first half, at least 2 drops and maybe 3 drops where the ball, as you mentioned earlier, was in our receiver's hand but not tucked away.
Yeah, and on the drops, you can go back on film and see where their eyes are on the ball. And, that's something that we work on every day, but we just got to make plays.
In the receiving department, Jameer with 6 grabs for 44 yards, and not only was he on offense, a stellar play on defense.
Yeah, I don't think the kid came off the field hardly all night last night.
He has 10 tackles. We'll get into that later for the game. Gabe East, 5 catches last night, 51 yards. He's out there quite a bit.
Gabe's going to see a lot of action this Friday night. Trail's going to be out, and it's a good thing we got a kid of that caliber to come in there and take that spot.
Travis Newsom with, again, some great catches, 4 of them for 61 yards. De'Eric shows he can catch the football, four grabs for 52 yards. Oliver, 3 for 78. Barron Wells, only 2 times thrown to him. He hangs on to both of those for 10 yards. So our 24 pass completions almost results in a 300-yard passing game for Joby, which is enough in a lot of instances to win football games.
Yeah. The key is we got to finish, and that's what we got to get done.
So his 24 passes for 296 yards. Hopkinsville, on the other hand, Bland was 8 out of 13 for 156 yards, and Hopkinsville with 42 rushes, 329 yards, a lot of them late in the game. Defensively for Caldwell County, Chris Burden leads us with 12 tackles, Gabe with 10, Tate with 10, so Russ with 8, Devin Kilgore with 5, Mitchell Harrelson with 4, Jameer with 4, Ben Holt with 3, Barron Wells with 3, and Trail with 2. Trail has the fumble recovery last night. Tate forces a fumble, and Russ has a sack on the Hopkinsville quarterback. So normally, as you would have mentioned, we did enough defensively last night to win the game. We just could not convert in the red zone.
That's exactly right.
Well, I want to add, we need to get off the field. I mean, it's not all on the offense, I think. I think at the end of the game we could have given some chances. We gave up those big runs. We have to get off the field there. And, I think that with the defense and defensive line and kind of looking at the film, it kind of starts with us. And we can't give up long runs, and when we're down like that, that's what teams are going to do to us. So.
Just to add to your point, Jeff, on that, those last 2 drives where Hopkinsville took it into the end zone, they rushed for 162 yards on 16 carries, a 10-yard per carry average, and you throw in their other 2 long runs of the night, 47 and 21. That takes them to 230 yards of rushing, and so we have 24. Stopped with only giving up 99 yards. So, like you say, we just didn't get stops on those last 2 drives.
Those last 2 drives I thought were key. I thought if we'd gotten the offensive football back, that would give us a better chance. And if we just didn't get it done, and that's something we've got to work on.
Is that when Coach Barnes alluded to? That's when they started running their counters and misdirection.
Watching that on film, it was just we've just got to get some fundamental things better on how to stop the counter. I mean, counter and power and just some basic downhill off tackle stuff. And if we can do that, and I think we can, we'll be a pretty good defensive football team. We're still a pretty good defensive football team. We just didn't play well in the fourth quarter last night. And sometimes that other team does it to you, but I think we can do some things in practice this week to shore that up. I mean, just at point of attack type stuff and talking about the linebacker scraping across, but it starts with the D-line, and you've got to take care of the point of attack to give those guys a place to go and feel. And if we can do that, I think we can be a pretty good run-stopping defense.
And looking at the penalty situation last night, Hopkinsville has 15, Caldwell 9, but as we mentioned earlier, there were 2 or 3 instances where we thought Hopkinsville should have had more penalties, but just did not happen. And so not a clean game on their part by any stretch of the imagination. Again, looking back over last night's game, red zone woes. We have 7 trips in the red zone. We scored twice. Jameer scores from 24 yards out. We technically not in the red zone at that time, but working on finishing drives, I'm sure, is what we'll do this week.
Exactly, and Joey's got to learn. He threw the ball last week and on a third down situation. Graves came, which he should have thrown away, and last night in the end zone, he should have run that football. So he's going to have to start making better decisions when it comes to that. you know, we get down there, we throwing picks, and you know, we had a chance to get the fourth down there. So we had 2 times there where we throw picks down in the goal line situation that you know, it takes points away from us, and that's something we got to get better at.
I always like to finish on a bright spot. So what were some of the bright spots last night? I'll start with you, Coach Barnes, and get with Coach Jeff and Coach Earl.
One of the bright spots for me is what Jameer Riley said in the locker room after that game. And, you know, you could tell it really meant something to that kid. And those kids will listen to what he said and what it meant to him last night. That boy played his butt off. You know, he went on both sides of the ball and yeah, you know,
had to be physically worn out after the game.
He's not the only one. You know, we had other kids that did the same thing, and you know, Gaby's made big plays for us. He didn't come off the field, and you know, we got some kids that if we just believe in each other and believe in getting the job done and believe in what we're trying to teach them, you know, doing the little things right instead of griping and complaining, and that's not going to get anything done. But that was a bright spot. Another bright spot was we were playing a good football team. We had a chance to win the game. I mean, you know, we're down 3 points in the fourth quarter and got an opportunity to score. And, you know, even when we were down 9 late in the game, we had a chance. And, you know, the thing with this offense is we can, you know, it's not an offense where you can't come back. We can come back. And our kids got to believe in that. You know, I really felt good that our kids did fight hard. We fought hard to win that football game, but we just didn't finish on offense, and that's something we got to get better at.
And Coach Riley, your bright spots that you took out of last night's game.
Well, I mean, to me, I think it's just about learning from the game. I think you have to kind of go back, and the bright spot is that a loss is a bad thing, and you don't want to experience those things, but you can take that and turn it into something good. I mean, that's what we're going to look to do this week is we're going to have to learn, you know, why we didn't get this done and why we didn't get that done and come back and play. And the kids played with a lot of effort. I don't think it wasn't a matter of us giving up or quitting. I thought we played hard, you know, up until maybe that last little drive and that last kickoff. And Gabe really played hard, and we returned that kick. And, you know, I really felt like it wasn't an effort issue. So the effort's there. It's just kind of buying into what we're trying to, you know, coach you to do and getting those little things done, like Coach Barnes said, and using this as it's a setback, but it's not the end all be all. We can come back and learn from this and turn it into a positive next week, I hope.
And Coach Earl, what I want you to do this week at practice is keep these kids fired up and make sure they run their drills as crisp as they can and keep them up.
Well, Bob, I tell you, every practice, get them knuckleheads ready for practice. And goofing off too into Coach Riley.
Got to stop that goofing off, don't we?
We'll do something with them.
Got to refocus, right?
Yeah.
That's your mission in practice this week, Coach Earl, is to have them with the focus on what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
You do that for me?
I sure can.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
That's going to wrap it up this morning for the SMQ. The Tigers take on Crittenden County next Friday night at Tiger Stadium, and it will be induction night for the latest Hall of Fame class. And David, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, you know, it's going to be a big night for us next Friday night. You know, we got Crittenden County coming to our place. They're going to be undefeated and had a big win last night over Trigg, and we're going to be recognizing the new class of the Hall of Fame next Friday. And I'm sure Coach Gates, Coach DT will have them on the radio, some of those guys, and we're really looking forward to them coming back. But the thing that I'm looking forward to is how this team bounces back. And I can promise you that a lot of these kids will come back on Monday. It's going to be a totally different attitude, totally different team, and we're going to get ready to beat Crittenden County.
And that's what we look forward to. We can't wait to get on the field next Friday night. That's the way the mentality, I think, has to be. I can't wait to have a chance to get better, if you will.
Exactly.
And for Coach Barnes, Coach Riley, and Coach Earl, we thank you for tuning in today's SMQ. We hope to see you next Friday night at Tiger Stadium. For Coach Barnes, Coach Riley, and Coach Earl, this is Bob Hayes wishing you an enjoyable Labor Day weekend.
You can always expect great things at Planters Bank. When we say expect great things, what we're really saying is Planters Bank is here to provide the financial services you need. Planters Bank believes in the strength of our community and is a full-service financial institution. Our employees have a true passion for helping our neighbors, and it shows. See Jake Pepper and the rest of the Planters Bank staff at 208 North Jefferson. Planters Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Fortner Gas Company is a full-service local and family-owned propane company offering services in Princeton, Cadiz, Madisonville, and Murray. Right now, Fortner Gas is offering specials on propane. Fortner Gas offers Holland and Napoleon grills, Dixie choppers, and they also have Red Max weed eaters. Contact Fortner Gas Company today for all of your residential, commercial, and agriculture propane needs. Fortner Gas Company, a family tradition of service since 1951.
Howdy, folks. Colonel Sanders here, and boy, do I have a deal for you. The deal with this deal is that you get both a breast and a whole wing when you choose my new 100% white meat KFC $5 fill-up deal. You also get dealt mashed potatoes and gravy, a biscuit, a cookie, and a drink with this here deal. I can't keep dealing this deal forever, though, so you have to go to KFC soon to get the two-piece all-white meat $5 fill-up, because it's only available for a limited time. Deal? Deal. KFC, it's finger-licking good.